So, hey guys, how's it going? This is the first Dark Souls episode of the DLC.
Yeah, so this would be part 21 of the guide. So right now we are just giving the large ember to Andre because we've not done that yet, and we're going to
upgrade our Balder Shield, of course.
Yeah, I think we might upgrade something else, but
if you haven't noticed, our armour has changed while wearing the Sage's robes, because it is actually the best light armour chest piece in the game for weight to defense ratio anyway, and it's got pretty good magic resist being that it's Logan's armour set, so it's handy in PvP and PvE.
Okay, so now we're speeding up this video, so just follow where we go. We're essentially going down to the bottom of Darkroot Basin where we fought the Hydra. Now you'll see that in the, I don't know what number it is, but it's the episode where we fight Sif and go to Darkroot Basin. So
yeah, and also if you got the DLC after doing the Duke's Archives, you need to go back to the Duke's Archives and kill the Crystal Golem at the start so you can pick up the Broken Pendant to get access to the DLC. So just make sure you do that.
Yeah, so
right past where the Hydra was, where we killed the Crystal Golem that released, what's her name?
Oolacile.
Yeah.
So if you need to know where to do this, look at the Sif guide and look at the Duke's Archives guide. So
and if you haven't picked it up there, the armour set for Dusk should be behind the portal. So
yeah, once we examine the portal, I don't know what the fuck we're doing right now, but
it's because I like the grass. No matter what way you tilted the camera, it always looked like it was always flowing into the centre. Yeah. I just liked the way it looked.
So anyway,
and then the most horrible hand in history comes out. Look at it.
There's a bunch of really great items in the DLC, so I mean, we really highly
3 slabs.
You get the DLC.
A blue slab, a white slab, and a fucking standard Titanite slab in DLC as well.
Yeah,
more than worth it.
Definitely great for that.
And the bosses have been stepped up a good bit as well. They're like what we like to call hyper aggressive, where they just do not let up no matter what.
Other than the bosses are really great.
But the Sanctuary Guardian, who you're going to see us take on here, we have sped up because it takes ages to get the tail, because it's very difficult to get the opportunity to. But the good thing is the tail's weak and only takes us about 3 swings at the tail.
Yeah.
But it's still getting that hit in the tail that's difficult, because you've only got about 2 seconds maybe from the tail landing on the ground to the tail going back up in the air out of reach.
So we're putting our Chloranthy ring on. That extra stamina regen will help us be able to run to the tail a bit quicker.
Because Ring of Fog doesn't work on bosses, as you'll be aware by now.
And all his attacks are really easy to dodge and block. Now, when you first go against the Sanctuary Guardian, he's going to seem like an impossible boss to beat. But what you need to do is just
stay calm.
Use this as a reference for his attack patterns. But so yeah, when he's shooting out multiple shots at you, they're easy enough to strafe or block. Now, when he's using this attack, when he comes to like claw at you and headbutt, after
the 3rd strike, if you just move back or roll away, you'll miss with the other 2. Be careful of this blast, because what they've done is pretty smart, where because you're fighting a lightning based boss in water, these blasts have an AoE shockwave on them for a couple of seconds, so if you roll and then accidentally step into it, then you will get a bit of damage. Now the only time you actually can get his tail is when he does a diving attack. You'll see him do it soon. This right one here. What you need to do is you need to roll towards him as he's about to hit you, and he will drag you so you end up landing behind him and then you get an easy swing on the tail. Now the mistake that we were doing here was we were rolling to the left or right. Now as you can see just there, it put us too far away. Now, like Stephen said, you need to roll forward into it. The invincibility frames carry you through, and then he passes over you, so you end up behind him right next to his tail, which means you get a free swing. And of course, if you are one-handing the claymore, you've got horizontal swings, which means you've got a really wide hit angle. Now we're obviously speeding this bit up, but when we slow it down, you'll actually see us actually do it, because this bit just goes on for ages. So this I guess this will let you show off all of his attacks and things like that. But you know, when it's slowed back down, obviously we'll be going into it a bit better. So you see there, we rolled to the side and we didn't even have enough time to do a running attack and get the tail. So just of course, so he has a bunch of attacks that are all. His attacks are all relatively powerful. I'd say he's like a medium power boss. He's just got a lot of different attacks, so I think that's mainly his thing. And he's quick, so he's difficult to hit. Now, when he does that wind shockwave attack, that is the perfect opportunity to attack him, to just get in a few good hits. If you've got the Dark Wood ring, you can roll through the shockwave and land right in front of him, by the way. If you are handy. Behind him, he will do like a mule kick or a swipe with his tail. Yeah. That's easy enough to dodge, but you need to be aware that he's going to do it. Yeah, the tail swipe will poison you in one hit regardless of what armour you're wearing. It's got such a high toxicity on it that even the best armour will not stop you getting hit with a one-shot poison.
I mean, maybe if you
the
have
spider
like
shield would block it all, because the spider shield's got that special property where it blocks poison and toxic, but no matter what armour you're wearing or what shield you've got when you're blocking, it's gonna poison you regardless.
not only that, I mean, maybe if you have like the highest poison resist plus the poison bite ring, maybe then.
But you're not going to use the poison bite ring against
you
it.
can see there, that is the first time that we rolled into it. Again, we roll into it here, and we are
right
much
next to the
closer
tail.
to the tail.
And there you go, 2 swipes, it's gone.
So his tail is really easy to get off. It's just, you know, you need to get the hit in.
And there you can see here we get an easy hit in here when he goes for his little shockwave. The tail of the weapon you get is a poison whip. So the whips aren't really viable in this game unless you're going for sort of Indiana Jones roleplay kind of thing. But it's a poison whip. It's
a fun weapon.
It's a fun weapon. Its toxicity isn't anywhere near as much as it is on the actual Sanctuary Guardian, but it does have good poison. I think it's got a 50 poison build up per hit.
Now, again, just like any boss, I totally suggest having a high stability shield. I think a high stability shield is actually one of the best investments that you can have in the game.
Any boss whose close range attacks are all physical definitely have a high stability shield. And he does this sometimes where he flies above you, then jukes round to try and get you with the lightning bolt, but they're easy to dodge. And there's the mule kick. We didn't know he could do that, but he only does that after your tail's been cut off, from what I can tell. Because whenever you're behind him when he's got the tail, he always swipes it. So if the tail's off, then he'll mule kick because he's not got the length on the tail to hit you anymore. So that must have been a little add-in for the developers to think about, because the what's his name, the Gaping Dragon is useless without its tail when you're behind it.
Yeah.
So they must have thought of that, which is pretty good. And as we said earlier when we were talking about this is one of the best looking chimeras in any game we've seen.
Yeah,
it really is pretty cool, especially with the scorpion tail, and the 4 wings looks really good in a chimera as opposed to the standard 2. And it's got the goat hind, but it doesn't have the goat head on it, which I think it looks good.
Horns though.
Yeah, it's got the horns of a ram.
So it does have a bunch of like jumping and charge attacks at you. I think that's really the main thing with this boss, which is the biggest threat, because they're really quite fast and can come out of nowhere. So that's the thing that you really mainly need to look out for. All its other attacks, once you're accustomed to it, really it's a non-issue of a boss. It seems hard at first, but it is generally quite easy.
And you seen there, it done the dive when we rolled forward again, but this time the tail wasn't there, so it didn't drag us behind it, so we ended up completely avoiding it.
There again, you just saw another mule kick, so yeah, that's the thing we need to watch out for.
Yeah.
Obviously the tail is a bit more, you know, it's got a larger range and things.
And it's much more lethal.
Yeah, so I guess if you cut the tail off, then you kind of just want to attack it from the front or the side.
Yeah, wait for it to do its shockwave attacks and then you get 3 hits into it, or if you can sidestep through its flurry, you might be able to get hit with a quick weapon like a boulder sword.
Now, there was
we didn't know it could do that either. That's the first time we've
Yeah.
seen that, which is it's a pretty cool attack actually.
But I mean, that came out of nowhere, so
that fucked us.
Yeah, but I mean, as you saw, we fought this guy for quite a long time, and like he didn't do it for ages, so that's probably not really an attack you need to worry about.
That's probably a when his tail's removed attack as well, because it seems to be the only time he's mule kicking or he's just booting you across the maps when he doesn't have his tail. So
there you go. There's the Sanctuary Guardian done, and really it's not a problem. Just make sure you've got your rest. Just make sure you're prepared, and just, you know, keep a level head and watch out for its small telegraphs.
Don't take any chances, because as I said earlier on, these bosses are technically hyper aggressive because they attack in much quicker flurries. You see it with Artorias and Manus. Both of these bosses are incredibly aggressive compared to the ones you've fought already.
Yeah, definitely.
Just there you see we get the Guardian Soul. It's completely useless. It doesn't go into any weapons or anything like that, so consume it for souls. Yeah. It's I know you get more souls for consuming it than you do for selling it to Framped, I can tell you that for sure. So consume it.
A humanity there, just a quick one, and
I think the Guardian Soul gives you 20,000 or something like that. It's a good amount.
It's not 20. It'll probably like 12.
No, the DLC stuff gives you more souls. Like the Manus Soul is 60,000, something like that. I don't know.
Thought it was like
it's massive.
36. I don't know.
It's massive.
The Manus Soul is big. Anyway, so we're just going to prepare ourselves for the next part that's coming up. It's the Royal Wood. The Royal Wood has the blue slab in it, and it's got the full Gardian armour in it as well. Mm-hmm. It's a relatively easy area. It's just sort of like a big sort of spread out plain. There's a crystal lizard to watch out for, and now there is also stone guardians, which are kind of like the replacement for the stone knights, because the Royal Wood is like Darkroot Garden.
The Royalwood is Darkroot Garden, if you haven't figured it out already. The DLC takes you back in time. And while we're in the actual sanctuary here, when you go out to the bridge, if you turn around and look at it, you'll realise the sanctuary is actually, it used to be...
boss room.
Yeah, it's now Sif's boss room. So this is Elizabeth, she's the sanctuary, she's the guardian of the Oolacile sanctuary. The interesting thing about her is that she's a master of the sausages of Oolacile, which are all like camouflage and stuff like that, so she may not actually be a mushroom because she is related to Dusk of Oolacile, as she says when you go through a dialogue, so there's a good chance she's not actually a mushroom, she's using a very good camouflage spell.
Yeah, plus the talking mushrooms are weird. Now she'll give you some Elizabeth mushrooms later on,
and they're amazing.
Elizabeth mushrooms, if it's actually a good thing that you can't buy them and you only get like 6 of them.
Yeah, because consumables are usable when you're invading, but you can't use your Estus, so you can use like divine blessings and stuff.
Anyway,
Elizabeth mushrooms. Yeah, Elizabeth mushrooms. Just while we're here talking about it, it's like the replenishment miracle, except it's a much more accelerated healing process.
I think
it's
it does
incredible.
Like 30 points of healing per second.
Yeah,
which is
it's
just
really
incredible.
good. So if you're able to buy them, then of course you just farm up to get 99 and then invade.
You can buy the sorceries that Oolacile sold you, as well as repair
Oolacile
powder
catalyst
and
as well.
gold pine resin as well.
Yeah, if you killed the merchant for his katana, then Elizabeth is now your only source to buy repair powder.
So the next part of the videos are going to be sped up just a little bit because there's nothing too intricate. It's just okay, we've got 12,000 for popping the Gardian. So, but yeah,
still a good amount.
it's just going to be sped up because there's a lot of walking and running. Nothing's too complicated.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to take in essentially. So there's the bridge that would be the bridge we'd walk along to with Sif, and this should seem pretty familiar, depending how much you'd be paying attention.
You're essentially going through Darkroot Gardens if you leave the Sif boss room and then walk through Darkroot towards where Artorias, taking the shortcut through the gates. Then you'll realise that this is just Darkroot. This is where the mushrooms would be.
Yeah. Now another thing to mention is in this part we were not wearing the Ring of Fog. Now the Ring of Fog is an incredibly useful item in this area, which you'll see in a second. So it might be good that we aren't wearing the Ring of Fog right now. Now you run up here and get the Gardian gauntlets, which is the first part of the 4 bits of the armor.
Yeah, and also be careful in that room. There is a lift there. It looks like you can make the drop down, but there is a death wall on it. If you jump, jump off that, you die. It is much shorter than quite a few heights you can jump in Dark Souls, but it's got a death barrier on it. So as soon as you pass through that, your character dies.
So because we are not wearing the Ring of Fog, we get ganked up by mobs like unbelievably at this point.
And these guys are much harder than the Stone Guardians that you fought in Darkroot.
These stone guardians, they'll drop Twinkling Titanite as well as their weapon, which is a pretty cool weapon, I guess.
Yep, the Stone Great Axe is a pretty good strength weapon, so it is. It's got good scaling, it does quite a bit of damage.
It's got a nice attack.
It's nowhere near as good as the Great Axe though. The Demon's Great Axe is by far the best strength weapon, scaling in that.
Regardless of that, really your best bet is to just try and strafe around these enemies. Don't try to block their attacks because they do so much stability damage.
Yeah.
Just try and get around, and when they do an attack, try and get around and hit them in the back.
Yeah, these guys won't cast Triangle Walk of Peace, and just while we're talking about the item drops, they can also drop Twinkling Titanite. I don't know if you mentioned that. Alright, cool. We're not sure if it's these ones, but the ones later on definitely do drop it because we did pick 2 up from one of them, I think.
Now these scarecrows can drop their pitchfork as well.
And they can drop any kind of moss because these are the Ents or the demonic brush or what they used to be rather.
Or the replacement or something.
Yeah.
So Chaos Pyromancy can take out the stone giants relatively easily actually, but you know it allows you to keep your distance. But regardless, like we're just like I said, we're strafing around them, but they're doing the big attacks, and that lets you get
in a couple of combustions.
They really are quite hard in pain in the arse.
Yeah, these guys drop Twinkling as well, as you just seen there, so that's that confirmed.
So yeah, we got ganked up really badly here, and I was like, it was at this point I'm like, oh, we're not wearing the Ring of Fog. And see, that guy saw us from fucking miles away. So when you're wearing the Ring of Fog, you can, like, which you'll see later, you could be so close to them and they don't see you. So it really is a game-breaking item at this point.
We should mention here, you can run past all of this if you do not want to go through it, but there is a blue slab nearby.
Yeah,
it's in this chest right here. As you can see, we open the chest, try to sneak in with the Ring of Fog, but the Stone Guardians seen it.
Yeah, we're just a little bit too close. But
Yeah.
as you can see, we were much closer to that Stone Guardian before
it
he
really
aggroed.
does cut down their aggro range something fierce.
So once we've done this, it's a little bit faster because we just run past the rest of it really.
Yeah.
But obviously we just got ganked up by these mobs, so we just need to take care of them. So now we can pick up the blue slab, which is basically round about where you would get the
Enchanted Ember.
the enchanted ember from Darkroot Garden. So so now we're off. Now just follow from the magic ember and then sort of go around here, go off this ledge, and this is
Where
essentially
more
the next
Guardian
area.
armour is as well.
Yeah,
I believe it's the leggings that are around here, is it not?
just over at the Guardian in the corner there, behind that will be another set. I'm not sure what part it is. I think it is the leggings though.
Yeah.
So we've got this Guardian to take care of, but as we know how to kill it this time.
Yeah.
So just strafe around, hit it when you've got the chance.
The Guardian
Don't bother
armour
long.
is the exact same as the Giant's armour.
No, stone armor.
Yeah, stone armour, sorry. It's just that the magic defensive properties and lightning defensive properties have been swapped round on some of the pieces.
At least two of the. I'm
it's
not
magic
sure.
and lightning because
Okay.
they are weak to fire. They can't
So
attack.
Calamite will show up at this point. He won't attack you. He will look at you though, but don't bother. You can't do anything.
Stupid three-eyed bastard.
Right. Okay. So upcoming here is a crystal lizard. So just be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Here it is. It seems to have a lot of health in comparison to other crystal lizards, but
Yeah, it
just
takes a couple of swings from the claymore.
make sure you get it. And there you go.
Twinkle
Now,
Titanite and a couple of large shards. Beautiful.
when you drop off this ledge, you won't be able to go back now unless you go all the way around again.
Yeah.
But now there is now three ways you can go. You can go straight forward, you can go up this ledge here to the left, or you can go up another ledge to the right. So
Yeah.
first of all, we're going to go up to the ledge in the left and then get the rest of the items, and then we'll continue on.
Yep, and unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, the shears that these scarecrows have are not a usable weapon.
Yeah, it's a shame. So
It would have been interesting builds, wouldn't it?
follow that wall and then double back up here.
How would you one-hand shears?
I don't know, actually, I don't think you can. Maybe like a bow. Presumably you could hack that in. Anyway, when you get to the end here, there is a soul packet before you jump off, so collect that and then, don't jump
Double
off.
back.
Don't jump off here. Just make sure you jump off.
Yeah, you want to double back because there is the final piece, I believe, of the Guardian's armour up here.
And an Elizabeth mushroom right here. I'm sure we're using Elizabeth mushroom not in this video, but later on. We might use it against Artorias. Don't quote us on
I
that.
may have used it against Artorias. I do remember using it against Manus, I think,
Yeah, I think you might have.
because I absolutely stomped Manus to pieces.
Yeah, you really did do a good
yeah.
job of Manus.
I ripped him apart.
The Guardian helmet is up here. It's up this little hill. You
Yeah,
need to-
be careful, there's a gap that you do need to jump. It does get you, it is rather well hidden as you can see from the terrain, but there it is right there. And that is a dead zone down there, you just die immediately, so you have to run and jump over. So we give ourselves a good run up and boom, that's us, and that's the last piece of the Guardian armour. Now you don't have to jump back,
No, it's not the last piece, second last. So yeah, you don't need to jump back, you can just
Yeah.
drop off.
you just drop off, you don't need to do the jump back and go round, and we're going round to take out the last of the stone guardians that are on this part of the woods.
So make sure you don't drop off into the other section of the woods, because this is still this one section. If you drop off
Yeah.
the ledge, you'll be like back to the beginning essentially. But yeah, there's just a bunch of scarecrows in here. As you can see, they do not aggro anywhere near as quickly as they do, and
Now that we're using fire claymores, they're the Howard as well, they're dropping like flies.
yeah.
They do have a pretty small fire resistance. They are incredibly weak to it.
So this
These guys are amusing. If you watch carefully, you'll see them actually putting their hand up to their eyebrows and their forehead and looking around for you. But we're standing right next to them. But because the ring of fog makes their aggro range so short,
yeah, look at this. It wasn't like that earlier, so this is definitive proof that these guys have a much shorter aggro range when you've got Ring of Fog
and
on.
you can land 2 fireballs on them before they even get a chance to react, which is amazing. Just make sure you hit them while they're in that searching animation, because it doesn't look like they can break that to go for an attack until it's finished.
So pick up the last bit of armour there. Now you've got the Guardian set if you're ready
Yep,
to use it.
and over here there are Goth's great arrows.
Well,
which
go.
yeah, go Goth, whatever way you want to pronounce it. But the point is, these are the arrows for Go's great bow, which is one of the better great bows in the game. I think it's better than the Dragon Slayer bow.
Just marginally.
I think it does have better scaling. But yeah, it is a pretty good weapon to use if you've got the strength and meet the dex requirements as well. If you're on some sort of quality build, perhaps. And of course more twinkling technique from the Royal Guardians here.
So that has us got all the items here, so now we can drop off the ledge, which will essentially take us back to the
Where
beginning
we killed
of
the crystal lizard.
Yeah, so it takes us back to that like triple path where we
Yeah,
can
we would have
either way.
came in on the ledge lower on the right,
So, yeah.
and we dropped off a higher ledge this time, so...
So here we are, you should be able to recognise that. That's the edge of the wall where we had to double back.
Yep, and get the stone armour, and now what we're going to
So
do,
up
we get
there,
invaded.
there, as we just looked up there, like there to our left, that's one way we're gonna go. But there is one item that we're gonna get, which is just a gold coin.
Yeah, but it's still 5,000 souls you sell it to France, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically a soul packet, whatever. So it's just
Yep.
down here. So follow this back wall.
Yeah, and you go past a little pond, and then you can see it there in the distance actually.
Yeah. Now for some reason these guys are too busy cutting trees, but
They have an incredibly short aggro range, but they do aggro if you get close.
I mean this is how short we're talking. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not even sure. It might be if you pick up the coin, the aggro. Apparently it is.
Yeah, it looks that way. Another one of these traps that they did in Ariamis, where the you pick up the soul packet and then the harpies come onto you in the rooftop,
Yeah.
like that. Or when you get above of where you get the what do we call it, miracle?
So sped this bit up, and here is the last path that you need to go up. This
Yep.
is just to the right of the bit where you came up from the crystal lizard initially. So this is actually sort of more like a ramp, and you need to drop down into this area. Now this area is a big U, and will take you, if you follow it, will take you back to the gold coin area.
Yeah. But you don't want to do that because we're coming off this end of
Yeah,
the map
but
soon.
there isn't
There's
any
no
items.
anymore.
Yeah.
There's no more items there.
Aside from obviously this soul packet. Now
We want to go round and up over that ledge. Right now we're looking for the guy that invaded us, because he obviously can't see us because of the ring of fog, unless he's standing like right behind us. So we're looking for him to see what he's doing, and then I think we're going to find a little hiding place so he can bolt.
so up and coming here is going to be a crystal lizard.
And there he is, just above the top of our red robe hat.
So there's a lizard, and be prepared. Kill it, and then that is the last one in this area. There's a few more in the
Yeah,
DLC.
I was worried about this because it might have alerted them, but we ended up just running away and hiding from the stone giant because of the ring of fog drops the aggro range so much, and there was an item around there, so it was sort of two birds situation.
So I cut that video there, that's him cut out, and you
Yep.
just take this down, and this takes us to outside the Artorias boss room.
Yeah.
So, but before that, we're going to activate the shortcut.
Yep, just past, of course, the lovable Chester.
Now,
He's amazing.
this
I love
guy
this
is a
guy.
really great vendor. He's the
Snatched
only
by
vendor
shadowy
aside from the undead
hand
merchant. So if
dragged
you
off
killed him, this is
path.
the only guy you're going to be able to buy Lloyd's talismans from. So keep
Yep.
that in mind.
Yeah,
And he's also
of
V for
course.
Vendetta, don't forget
Exactly
about
what
that.
happened to
Yeah.
me.
Even when you
We
kill
are
him, you get his armor set,
strangers in this
and
strange
even the
land.
headpiece has
But
the
at least
anonymous
now
mask
there
on
are
it and
two of
everything,
us.
and his armor's not brilliant, but it just looks cool as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty balling armour.
It
So
is
he does
swag.
sell a bunch of essentially just PvP based items.
He's
so
very
he's-
good, and he's another source for any arrows and
Did
bolts
you
you want in the
happen
game as
across
well,
Knight
other than the
Artorias?
great bow,
The
great bow
legendary
arrows, 'cause you need to go to
abyss
Goth to get
walker
them,
from the
or
old
gold.
tales.
And they are kind of
Well,
expensive. I think they're about
it's
300
just
an
as
hour or
well.
something like that for
No,
those
it's
great
quite
bows.
expensive.
Colourless sort,
So
if you ask
next
me.
after Chester is the shortcut.
Shortcut back up to the top of Royal Wood where we grabbed these stone
So
gauntlets.
long.
So this is how you activate that shortcut and get past the death barrier. So we're just going to stand on it and then probably we'll go right up. I usually roll back
So obviously,
off.
if you wanted to, you could go back to the bonfire at the sanctuary, but we're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. There's no point running all the way back there. We've got 15 flasks on, we've got a ton of humanity, and we picked up an Elizabeth mushroom. We can easily take on Artorias first time, and as you're about to see, I do that.
Now, Artorias is quite hard to do in your set. Although you do him first time and you're good at doing him, I personally find Artorias to be quite difficult.
Yeah, it's a high progressive boss. Once again, a high stability shield. And if you don't want to roll to avoid his attack, of course, some poise armor because it helps with your endurance loss when you get hit. But he is a high progressive boss, and you can dodge every single one of his attacks. There is an
Personally-
animation you can make to dodge all of his attacks.
Yeah, personally, I think that the Dark Blue Green Ring is a good option for him. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say a high stability shield is actually totally necessary. You want to be dodging his attacks more than you're blocking them. That's
Yep, but
I think.
with the stability and the Boulder Shield, I figured it was better to put on the Chloranthy Ring and gain the stamina regen through blocking,
yeah. So I mean,
which would be good. Darkwood Green Ring would be an option if you're not using Ring of Favour protection. You're giving yourself a bit more of a challenge throughout Dark Souls. then yeah, Ring of Favour and Protection, and of course the Chloranthy Ring. But I would choose Chloranthy over Ring of Favour because you're a lot safer blocking than you are rolling, because it's definite block to damage.
So that jump attack there, that is a blockable attack.
He hits me with that spinning attack quite a few times. It always catches me off guard.
Yeah, that is something that's quite off guard now. He's also got that attack that will fling goo at you, but that's not an issue.
Particles of the Abyss.
His actual just basic swinging attacks are really, they're not as powerful as they look, you could say.
Yeah.
They
don't do a lot of damage, but it's
blockable.
It is also because we have upgraded the Sage armour a little bit, and we are wearing the rest of our armour, I believe, is fully upgraded apart from the Sage set, which would be the chest piece and the leggings that we're using. But they have been upgraded a good amount, probably around about +5 at least by this point, because I am an advocate for upgrading standard armour quite a bit, especially when it's that good.
Now, if you are not blocking his attacks, you kind of want to be dodging all of these. The attack that you want to be looking out for is, well, I'll point it out when it comes up, is he does a sort of like front flip jump thing. That is also one that you want to be looking out for, that stab, that gives you a little bit. But there, that attack that he done just there, that's the one where when he does that you want to be rolling, hitting him, and then dodging the rest of his attacks.
Yep. And also, every time you drain Artorias by 25% or more health, he'll roll away from you twice, and he'll go into this channeling thing. You'll see him do it soon. You want to two-hand your halberd and get in there and break that, because if he channels, he gains a massive attack damage boost, and he gains huge stability breaking potential as well. Like, he'll do that double roll there, and then there you go. You want to get in there and beat him. 2 heavies from the halberd should do it. As you can see there, we managed to break his channeling just before he did it. You can tell when he's channeled because he gets this massive aura around him, which just is even more black basically than what it is at the moment, or even more purple.
Yeah, and he'll just be doing a bunch more damage to you as well.
Yeah, and he's far more aggressive when he's got his buff. It is a temporary buff, but it does last a good. While when a boss is this aggressive. Even a second seems like forever. But
so yeah, I mean clearly, if you're blocking his attacks, you're able to land in more definitely. But dodging is like generally what people normally go for.
I decided just to tank it because it was a much safer approach. Of course, as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm dropping my shield between attacks because I want Chloranthy Ring's full effect. So dropping your shield between attacks gives you maximum stamina recovery, because while you're blocking you recover less stamina.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chloranthy Ring does give you good stamina regen while blocking, but when you're not blocking, the amount it increases by is amazing. I think you get like 30% while blocking with the Chloranthy Ring on, but while you're not blocking you get like a 40 or 50% stamina recovery boost, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's power within, but for your endurance bar.
Yeah, essentially.
It's great.
So yeah, I mean, most of the attacks are actually relatively telegraphed.
And he got us with that again. Yeah, that was difficult. It's weird. I think he does something like he swings his head or his shoulder or something like that before he does it, but I couldn't work out the tell for it. I wasn't paying attention enough whenever he done it because it always caught me by surprise. So once again, 2 rolls in his channeling, so just break it again. 2 swings from the halberd.
His normal attacks, like just
that one's a pain. When he's buffed, that does about 4 times the damage it done there. I'm not even kidding.
Insane.
He gets a massive attack buff, especially with thrusting attacks, because they've got armor breaking potential, or armor penetration potential rather.
Is that a thing?
It seems like it, because thrusting attacks get higher damage against armoured enemies than slashing or...
like it maybe depends like what your actual armour is, so maybe if you have a high thrust
yeah, because thrust is usually the lowest of the physical armour protections on the armour stats, because thrust weapons of course are designed to pierce through plate armour, so that possibly is the main reason why it does that. So yeah,
those attacks there are really easy. You don't even block them, you can easily strafe around them.
Yeah, but of course he has got quite a few quick attacks. Like that one where he keeps catching us, where he swings at us from when we're behind him, he jumps away. That one hits us nearly all the time, and of course his attacks are quick, so just be on your guard. These ones you can block. It seems that every time he does a bit of damage to you for one of them, he will jump into another one, and he can do it up to 5 times in a row. So if Artorias feels like being a bit of a dick, then gutted I suppose. So as you can see here, we took him down by near enough 25% health again. He's down to his last quarter health, and he's doing his 3rd channel. At this point he will channel whenever he can get a chance to, or whenever...
I don't know if that is true.
I've seen him channel another twice when he's down at this point, because I was using my dex build and my Sunfire Blade ran out. so I was doing far less damage with the Balder sword because Artorias has got really good armour.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen him channel up to 5 times in a fight, which is a pain in the ass.
But yeah, Artorias, it is a good point. Artorias is really tanky, so even if you do have a really high damage weapon, like we do, I mean, remember how much damage we were doing to Ornstein's Snow with this weapon?
Beast dodge.
So
that was like Hollywood movie stunt double style dodge right there, man.
So I think no matter what you're doing with Artorias,
and there you go, channeling again. See?
Oh, you're right.
Seems that if you take away chunks, then boom, you'll channel.
If you do summon people for this fight, it makes it unbelievably easy.
Yeah,
so
Artorias
this is
doesn't
a
get.
great
I don't
place
think
to get some souls if you need them.
Yeah, I don't think Artorias really gets as much of a health and damage boost as the other bosses in the game because of how aggressive he is.
I've no idea.
I mean, but he's much easier than most other bosses. Like it seems like he still takes the same amount of damage from your weapon swings. He still does the same attack part. He still does the same damage. He's just, I don't know what it is. It's just
another thing.
And because they're hyper aggressive and you can draw away the aggression to another teammate and get them distracted. I suppose that makes it much easier as well. So.
Yeah, being able to share the aggro is definitely good.
Soul of Artorias, just before you see what you're going to say, the only use for that is to get the Abyss Sword. It is the Artorias Greatsword, except it does less damage and it doesn't have any auxiliary effects or anything. That's a magic damage weapon. It's based off strength, dexterity and intelligence, just like the normal Artorias sword. Yeah, it's got faith scaling on it as well, but it's essentially the exact same as the Greatsword of Artorias, apart from it's black and it is chipped away a bit because of the decay from the Abyss. And the Cleansing Great Shield is, of course, the Artorias Great Shield, which has been hammered away, but it's awful. It's the worst Great Shield.
Here we quit out and we came back in because this will summon
lordsblade Ciaran.
Now she'll ask you for the soul of Artorias, but this is actually something totally pointless in the game.
Yeah.
They could easily have made it if you gave her the soul, she'll give you one thing, and if you kill her, you'll get another.
But it doesn't matter.
Don't give her the soul because
then you don't get her back. Because if you give her the soul, she doesn't give you anything.
No, if you give her the soul, she gives you I think it's one of her weapons or something. But then you don't have the soul and you don't have her armor. But if you just kill her, you have her. You have the soul, her armor, and her weapons.
Yeah, so I kicked her there to try and get the backstab, but it wasn't giving me the option of it. But if you give her the soul, you're down a soul, and you only get a weapon or something like that. But if you kill her, you've got both the Dark Silver Tracer and the Gold Silver Tracer, and you get the Porcelain set. And I was quite a fan of the Porcelain mask.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
It looks good, and it's got good defensive to weight properties as well, and it's even got a bit of poise in it for a light armor.
Now, she's just really like any. She's actually one of the highest health humanoid enemies in the game, so that's quite interesting actually. But she isn't an issue.
I can't wait to the Calamite episode where at the end we start killing all the NPCs because of Go.
Oh god, we just.
I'm not going to. It's amazing. I'm not going to tell you why, but it's just brilliant. So as you can see, there, Dark Silver and the Gold Tracer and the full armor set. Now the Dark Silver Tracer inflicts toxic damage, and its attacks are a little bit slower than the Gold Silver Tracer, and it does have a lower dex requirement. But the Gold Silver Tracer is amazingly better. It's ridiculous. It scales with upgrades with Twinkling Titanite, so it's easy to get and it's cheap. It's got a high dex requirement, but it scales incredibly well. It's got A scaling and dex, although the Dark Silver has an S scaling, it does less damage. And the best thing about the Gold Silver Tracer is how quick it attacks and the fact that it's got a poison build up on it as well.
No, the Gold Silver Tracer is bleed. It's the most bleed build up of any weapon.
Yeah, no, the Life Hunt Scythe is more, but it's the point that the Gold Silver Tracer attacks so quickly. You do have to be incredibly close range, but it attacks so quickly, and I like it because of how elegant the moveset is. Yeah. It's really showy. It's really showy off. It's brilliant. I love it. But yeah, that's the end of this episode, where we've taken down the Sanctuary Garden, we've taken down Artorias. In the next episode, I believe we're going to take out Manus. Because I think we do Calamite last. I always do Calamite last when I'm doing DLC anyway.
I think we do Calamite next. I don't know. I think we done Manus last, but either one it'll be either Calamite or Manus next time.
Either one, it's going to take a while now. But yeah, if it's Calamite, we're sorry, it takes forever, we're going to speed it all up. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed the episode, hope you learned something new about the DLC, and we'll see you in the next episode, I suppose.
Rate, comment, subscribe, and bye.
See you guys later.